Dear students, in continuation of my previous lecture on biomolecules, today we are going to talk about classification and chemical properties of biomolecules. So coming to the carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are the hydrates of carbon. Technically they are polyhydroxyaldehydes and ketones. They are also known as saccharides, and the word saccharide comes from the Greek word saccharon, which means sugar. The empirical formula for the carbohydrates is CnH2O whole N. If we talk about classification, then we can classify carbohydrates in monosaccharide, disaccharide and polysaccharide. For the definition and the subclassification of each part, please refer to my previous related videos. Links are provided in the description box. We will focus on the function and chemical properties in this video lecture. So what are the functions of carbohydrate? Carbohydrates are the chief energy source in many animals. They are instant source of energy. Glucose is broken down by glycolysis Krebs cycle to yield ATP. Glucose is the source of storage of energy. It is stored as glycogen in animals and starch in plants. Stored carbohydrates act as energy source instead of proteins. Carbohydrates are intermediates in the biosynthesis of fats and proteins. Carbohydrates aid in regulation of nerve tissues and are the energy source for brain. Carbohydrates get associated with lipids and proteins to form surface antigens, receptor molecules, vitamins and antibiotics. So these are the different functions of carbohydrate. Now coming to the chemical nature of carbohydrate. As we have already discussed that carbohydrates are polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketones. So depending upon the oxidizing agent used, the terminal aldehyde, keto or the alcohol or both groups may be oxidized. So first is the oxidation of aldehyde group of glucose to gluconic acid. This is the structure of glucose. This is the terminal aldehyde group. When it is treated with the mild oxidizing agent like bromine, water, etc., it will produce gluconic acid. This is the structure of gluconic acid, in which this aldehyde group is oxidized to the carboxylic acid group. The second is the oxidation of the terminal alcohol group of glucose. This is the terminal alcohol group of the glucose to the glucuronic acid. This is the glucuronic acid. And it is done by using a strong oxidizing agent like hydrogen peroxide. This is the glucose molecule, in which this is the terminal alcohol group. When treated with a strong oxidizing agent, will oxidize this terminal alcohol into the acid group and form the glucuronic acid. The third is the oxidation of the both group, that is the terminal aldehyde and the terminal alcohol group, by a strong oxidizing agent like HNO3. Here the glucose is treated with HNO3 to produce glucaric acid. This is glucaric acid, in which the terminal aldehyde group is also oxidized to the acidic group, and the terminal alcoholic group is also oxidized to the acidic group and form the glucaric acid. So these are the three types of the oxidation depending upon the oxidizing agent used and on the treatment of different terminal aldehyde and alcoholic group. Now coming to the reduction. Reduction is another chemical property of carbohydrate. On treatment with any reducing agent by sodium amalgam, aldehyde or the keto group reduced to the corresponding alcohol. This is the glucose, in which this is the terminal aldehyde group. When treated with sodium amalgam, will reduce to the alcoholic group. This is the alcoholic group. This is the OH group and this is the aldehyde group. And this is the structure of sorbitol. In sorbitol, at both the terminal carbon there is a presence of alcoholic group. This is the alcoholic group and this is the alcoholic group. This is the structure of sorbitol, which is produced on reduction of glucose. Similarly, fructose gives D-mannitol plus D-sorbitol. So this is the reduction. The third chemical property of carbohydrate is dehydration, which is also known as Molish reagent test. And on treatment with H2SO4, carbohydrates or any monosaccharide eliminate 3 molecules of water and form furfuryls. These furfuryls can condense with a phenolic compound, that is alpha naphthol, to form colored product, and we can obtain purple or violet color product in this test. And this is the main qualitative test used for the detection of carbohydrate, in which this is the structure of glucose, which is in the presence of concentrated H2SO4 produce furfuryl, and this furfuryl when react with alpha naphthol, it will form a colored product which is of purple or a violet color product. So this is the qualitative test for detection of carbohydrate. The next chemical property is osazone formation. In osazone formation, phenyl hydrogen in acetic acid when boiled with reducing sugar forms osazone. It is a reaction between 3 moles of the phenyl hydrogen and 1 mole of the aldose. Produces a crystalline product which is known as phenyl osazone. The reaction requires a free carbonyl group. This is the free carbonyl group, and yields 1 and 2 diphenyl hydrazone. This is 1,2 diphenyl hydrazone, which is known as osazone. Osazone appears as yellow colored crystals of characteristic shapes. So it is written here as yellow, and this is also a test for reducing sugar. Now coming to the lipids. Lipids are a heterogeneous group of water insoluble, that is hydrophobic organic molecule. Lipids are a major source of energy for the body and they provide the hydrophobic barrier. Lipids serve additional functions in the body. For example, some fat soluble vitamins have regulatory or coenzyme function, and the prostaglandins and the steroid hormones play major role in the control of body's homeostasis. If we talk about classification of lipids, they can be classified into simple lipids, complex lipids and the derived lipids. Simple lipids are the esters of the fatty acids with alcohol, example fats and oils and waxes. Complex lipids are the esters of the fatty acids with alcohols containing additional phosphate, nitrogenous bases, carbohydrate or protein group. For example, a phospholipid or a glycolipid. Both of these are the complex lipids. If we talk about derived lipids, these are the derivatives obtained on the hydrolysis of group 1 and group 2 lipids. Example, glycerol, fatty acids, fat soluble vitamins, steroid hormones, etc. So this is the classification of the lipids. You can also refer to my previous lecture for the classification and the qualitative test of lipids. Link is provided in the description box. Now what are the functions of the lipids? So lipids provide food highly rich in calorific value. 1 gram lipid produces 9.3 kilocalories of heat. So lipids can be used as a food material. Lipids are insoluble in aqueous solution and hence can be stored readily in the body as a food reserve. So it is also used as a food reserve. Lipids are an important constituent of the cell membrane, so it is also a structural component. The fats are characterized for their high insulating capacity. Great quantities of fat are deposited in the subcutaneous layer in aquatic mammals such as whale and in animals living in cold climates. So they also act as a heat insulation. Phospholipids play an important role in absorption and transportation of the fatty acids. So they act as a fatty acid absorption. They also play a role in hormone synthesis. The sex hormones, adrenocorticoids, folic acid, and also vitamin D are all synthesized from cholesterol, which is a steroidal lipid. They also act as a vitamin carriers. Lipids act as a carriers of natural fat soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E. They are also blood cholesterol lowering. Chocolates and the beef, especially the latter one, were believed to cause many heart diseases as they are rich in saturated fatty acid, which boost cholesterol levels in the blood and clog the arterial passage. So these are the different functions of the lipids in the body. Now coming to the chemical nature of the lipids. If we talk about the chemical nature of the lipids, then there are various types of the reactions which can be take place by lipids, like hydrolysis, saponification, rancidity, hydrogenation, and each of these topics were covered separately in my previous video lectures. Please, if you want details of these lectures, please go for the links in the description box. Now coming to the proteins. Proteins are the large biomolecules or macromolecules consisting of one or more long chains of amino acid residues. Proteins are known as building blocks of life, and proteins are the organic substances. They are made up of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen. If we talk about classification, then proteins can be classified as simple proteins or the holoproteins, conjugated complex lipids or the heteroproteins, and the derived proteins. Simple proteins or the holoproteins are the proteins made up of only one type of amino acid as a structural component. On decomposition with acids, they liberate constituent amino acids, for example, albumins and the globulins. Conjugated or the complex proteins are made up of amino acids and some other organic component, and the non-amino acid group is termed as prosthetic group. Example is metalloproteins or the chromoproteins or lipoproteins, etc. Derived proteins are derived from the actions of heat, enzyme or chemical reactions, and derived proteins are of two types, that is the primarily derived protein or the secondary derived protein. Now, what are the functions of proteins? Proteins are seen in muscles, hair, skin and other tissues. They constitute the bulk of the body's non-skeletal structure. Example, the protein keratin is present in the nails and hair. Some proteins are hormones and they can regulate many body functions. Example, insulin is a hormone which is a kind of protein and regulate the blood sugar level. Some proteins act as enzymes. They catalyze or help in the biochemical reactions. Example, pepsin and trypsin. Some proteins act as antibodies and they protect the body from the effect of invading species or substances. Proteins transport different substances in blood of different tissues. Example, hemoglobin is an oxygen transport protein. Contractile proteins help in the contraction of the muscle and the cells of our body. Example, myosin. Myosin is a contractile protein. Fibrinogen, a glycoprotein, helps in the healing of wounds. It prevents blood loss and inhibits the passage of germs. So these are the different functions of proteins in our body. Now coming to the chemical nature of proteins. As we all know that proteins are made up of amino acids, and amino acids are the group of organic compounds containing two functional groups, that is the amino group and the carboxyl group. So the chemical property of proteins or amino acids can depend upon or can be categorized into two part, that is the reaction which can involve the carboxylic acid group and the reactions which involve the amino group. So first we can discuss the reaction due to the COH group. The amino acids form the salt, that is COONA, with bases, because it is basic. Amino acids are acidic in nature, so it will form salts with the bases, and esters, that is the COOR, with alcohols. On decarboxylation, amino acids undergo decarboxylation to produce corresponding amines. For example, this is an alpha amino acid group which on decarboxylation will produce amine. Reaction with ammonia, the carboxyl group of the dicarboxylic amino acids react with ammonia to form the amide. Now the second part, that is the reactions due to the NH2 group. First, the amino groups combine with the acid to form the salt, because the amino group are basic in nature, so they can combine with acid to form the salt. The second and important reaction is a reaction with ninhydrine, and this is also identification test for proteins and amino acids, in which when a ninhydrine solution reacts with amino acids, it will produce a complex, and this complex is of purple or pink color. So this is a colored reaction identification test for proteins and amino acids. The next reaction which involves the NH2 group is transamination, and the transamination is the transfer of amino group from an amino acid to a keto acid, and the process is known as transamination. The next reaction which involves the NH2 group is oxidative deamination, and the amino acids undergo oxidative deamination to liberate free ammonia in the body. Now coming to the nucleic acid. Nucleic acid is a complex substance present in living cells, especially DNA or RNA, whose molecules consist of many nucleotides linked in a long chain. If we classify nucleic acid, it is classified into two parts, that is the DNA and the RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and the ribonucleic acid. And both of these are made up of pyrimidine and purine bases. In pyrimidine bases, there is uracil, which is only found in RNA, thymine, which is only found in DNA, and the cytosine, which is found both in DNA and RNA. In purine bases, there is adenine and guanine, and both of adenine and guanine is present in DNA and RNA both. Now the function of nucleic acids. Purine and pyrimidine nucleotides, that is the adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine and uracil, as we have already seen the structure, are the structural component of the DNA and RNA, and also involved in metabolic function like energy metabolism, protein synthesis, enzymatic activities, etc. Nucleotides are the structural components of coenzymes, example coenzyme of B complex, vitamin, FAD and NAD+. Also, they helps in the signal transduction pathways, example GTP and GDP. Helps in the synthesis of glycogen, example UDP glucose. Helps in lipid biosynthesis like CDP acyl glycerol. Also act as a secondary messengers in some hormonal action like cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP. Synthetic analogues of the nucleotides are also employed in the treatment of cancer, AIDS and suppression of immune response during organ transplantation. So this is all about the function, chemical properties and classification of different biomolecules. If you like this video, please do subscribe my channel. Thank you for your time.